Hey, it's Keliste checking in. I want to talk about Brandywine because I haven't done that yet. It won't be a full video, but it won't be a 2 minute short. Um, I went hobbit camping early October. So while I do this, I'm testing out my wood burning stove, and I got some hardwood in the shape for it. So, Brandywine Festival took place in central Kentucky, and what ended up happening was for 5 days, a little bit more for me because I was a volunteer, we ended up uh, having charcuterie boards and good vibes and kindness all around. Um, there is a series of long fields they have that they all set up for us to enjoy and camp at. Um, sorry. I might get more light here in a moment, but um, the long fields were set up so we had an out of game, air quote, that's where I slept. More modern camping setups. So an out of game area for sleeping. We had a couple game fields all lined up in a very long row of vendors. We had food vendors, we had merchants. There was a stage, there was a party tree. We had craft, like event, like themed tents. We had a game field and a big party tent. And then at the very end of these series of fields was in-game camping. And so in-game, they were hobbits most all the time. The tents were a lot of times canvas bell tents, but a lot of them were just natural material tents. I saw A-frames, I saw reenactment tents. They were in different colors. A lot of them were canvas color, but there was blue and yellow. Someone handmade that tent. It was beautiful. There was a fully painted tent in the back. Absolutely stunning. I say game because it is technically a LARP, so live action role play. But usually when I give a summary of I went hobbit camping, I don't even use the word LARP. We just all pretend to be hobbits, which is what happened. We role played as hobbits, and how you do that is a lot of gossip. You're like, have you heard? Oh my goodness, this just happened, or any good news to share. And what ended up working really well was that Berkshire put on different quests up in the hills along the side of the Brandywine Festival. And so you would just randomly see, oh, there goes, 20, 30 hobbits on a trail. The lore of this is that Sam and Frodo left about 6 months before. And so Brandywine 2025, we're just celebrating a festival. And it's going to be the same for Brandywine 2026. We're 6 months after Sam and Frodo leave the Shire. We don't know what they're up to. So some of the quests we learned this year was that the big folk were just outside of our area, but then they were, there was a giant spider. And I heard between a wagon and a small horse, the size of 3 grown men, all these different tales. Rangers came, they helped with the spider. Oh, we had a dwarf come visit. He was one of the famous YouTubers. So we had a dwarf with his wagon. He was here to sell dwarvish boots to hobbits. But the big folk stole all of half his shoes. The left halves. So we were doing different quests up into the hills, trying to find out what was going on and how we could help scare away the big folks and fight the spider. And some hobbits didn't partake in the questing, and that's because they didn't need to. There were other small quests around. There was a squirrel who kept getting lost and hurt in the trees. Bungo was a good squirrel. Bungo? Bungo. The Thompson sisters kept losing accidentally their heart-shaped pincushions. So that was acquired a few times. You never knew what was going on. And those were just some of the quests. But then there were player-based stuff. And that's where some of the extra magic happened. There was a player talent show. I didn't attend, but I heard great things. I was around and you could hear the cheers. I think I might have lost my light. But the feast, there was some drama on the feast, but there was a big community feast at the end of Saturday night that ended up with, after the feast, there was a big party at the party tree, and then they had grand fireworks at the end of our festival. We had small things too. One day I was eating lunch and other hobbits were asking, "Is there a knob binding class?" And I was like, "Not that I'm aware of." And then, within 4 minutes, there were 7 other hobbits sitting behind me at the party tree, learning how to knob bind. That was a player-led thing. Oh, homebrew swap, which, by the way, I have 10 gallons of meat I just started yesterday. I don't know if all of those are coming to Brandywine, but if it's mid-November, should be plenty to be had for October next year. And a little bit of aging. Not that much, but a little bit. And then, yeah. So I was out of game camping. There was in-game camping, fires to be had. Every time we walked by a community fire where people were cooking or just sitting around, they were so kind to share their drinks, a lot of homemade meads and wines, homemade absinthe. I had some of that. That was very good. Then they had, food to be shared. One tent station was putting on, they brought kegs of hard cider. And they would just trade hard cider for a gift or a trinket or a story. If you wanted to share a story or a dance, a tale. The camaraderie and the spirit was way up there. It was a little different. I'm usually used to regional Burning Man burns, and it's a giving community, and this one felt almost more like a trade bartering community. The night market. I only went the second night, but hobbits brought fancier events, fancier trinkets. We called them madams. That maybe had a little bit more value than just some of the free things people were handing away. Plenty of free little trinkets. Oh, they're beautiful. I got buttons and frogs and painted mushrooms. I got vials of honey for the free little madams. But the bigger things players made and wanted to trade with others, they did their own night market in the big tent. And that was absolutely just magic. I walked through there and the ambiance was just so excited for people to share what they had, make friends with others, make exchanges. There was gambling and gambling. They had the liar's dice going and as a market booth. It was just so cute. Some of my favorite random memories was walking by every day between the vendors and the party tree. There was a field space. I think it was 2 every day. People would come and sketch. There was a live model there, a couple of live models. And every day there was between a dozen and 30 people just making art on the hill. Absolutely the coolest. So, Brandywine 2026 is going on. Early October. Tickets are on sale now. And I'll be there. And I went first time because I thought I would like people. I would want to be a hobbit. I bet I like the people who want to be hobbits. And so I think I'll like you guys. If you guys want to be a hobbit, please come join.